when I see my face on the laptop, your face laptop. I'm not seeing anything on the laptop. Nope, we are there. I can see me. I can see you.
Good.
Good. So 1 second. I'm just.
Can you hear us both? Can you see my voice?
I can see. You laugh about the seeing the voice, but I know I cannot see your voice now. But I could see your voice earlier when I was looking at the equalizer. 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 Let's go with that. I don't think it's called an equalizer, but it's it's close enough to what it's actually called. Okay. All right, let's go. I'm ready. Yeah. Make sure that's fine. Bit of that. All right. Here we go. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Monkey Tail podcast. I am your host Bruno Pinto, and with me as ever I have my friend / co-host Mr. Marius Dunkley. How are you doing, sir?
I am good.
Happy Halloween. Is this the first time we were recording a podcast on Halloween? I think it might be. I don't remember recording one on Halloween before.
I don't remember it, but just because I don't remember it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
This is true. This is true. Yes. Are you gonna go trick-or-treating today? Yeah?
No. I've been put on the list. I'm not allowed anymore.
I mean, with your kid, is your kid too young to do it still?
Too young.
Yeah.
Too young. And you, are people really doing trick or treat this year?
On the radio,
how do you do it?
On the
don't
radio,
you just have to throw things at people from? They have to stand at the end of the drive, and you see if you can hit them with some sweets.
Yeah, I have no faith. On the radio, I heard. Yes, the radio. I'm getting old. I heard that this person was doing a kind of like a clothesline situation where she has a bucket. She got a bucket to take the like a Home Alone kind of situation.
Yeah.
Pushes the
very good.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking catapult myself.
Yeah. All of them, good ones. I mean, I like the open your mouth. Just get the candy straight into the mouth. I'm quite good at throwing. I know. People say I'm good at this, I'm good at that. Yeah, I'm not good at most things. One thing I am good at, and this is true, it's throwing. I'm good at throwing stuff. I don't know why. It's something I'm good at. Yeah.
We are when we finally do a 24-hour.
Yeah.
We are having some sort of throwing based competition. I'm piss poor at throwing. You'll beat me. I'm terrible, but that claim is going to be tested.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm, it's like I see the code from the Matrix. So when it comes to throwing stuff, I just see all the angles and it just goes. And it's honestly something that I don't know what it is. I've been gifted with a stupid talent. I'm good at throwing. But wait, before you say, "Oh, you should go and be a cricketer or something," no, I'm not good at throwing something fast. They're weak.
Oh. Right, so specifically, how are you good at throwing?
Precision.
But you can't throw fast.
Precision.
Right.
So I'm good at precision throwing. So hitting the target rather than smashing the target. That makes sense. Okay, I'm being serious. That's all I'm claiming.
Why aren't you a darts player then?
I don't know. It's boring, isn't it? Darts. I'm good at darts. I am good at darts.
Being good at precision throwing is fucking boring.
I'm good at darts. To be fair, I don't play that often, but yeah, I'm good. I'll probably beat you at darts as well. If we were to try that. But the thing is, because I have that precision mind thing on, I always go for the bullseye, which is not. Let's face it, it's not where you get the most points. It's just that precision thing in me just goes for the middle always. Anyway, because it's Halloween. And we're recording on 31st. I thought the question could be a spooky question, or races around a spooky theme. So my question to you is: what's the scariest game you played, and what's the scariest movie you watched? So if you want to think about it, I got some answers here from some.
I mean, I know the answers, but go ahead.
No, I got some answers from.
I've got a few suggestions, but I know the winners.
So Martin, friend of the show, Martin, he said that he doesn't really play scary games. By the way, this is most of them say they don't really play scary games, but that's pretty much how they answer all of the answers here. Resident Evil on the GameCube was quite scary for him, and. Yeah, he remembers being pretty scared of it at night. We have Calvin, Calvin.
Oh, yeah.
again, he doesn't play horror movies, but Dead Space, he said it was quite scary for him. Dead Space is scary, also excellent.
Dead Space is a good shout. Yeah.
And Resident Evil 2, he said. Martin also said Halo, when you encounter the Flood for the first time. I don't remember that being that scary, but fair enough.
No, not for me.
And Aristo played an Half-Life mod. I haven't played this one, which he cannot remember the name. Thanks, Aristo. That's excellent. Yeah. but it starts on a pitch black room, and eventually some random rows of letters appear on the floor. There's only one correct letter per row, and then as you keep walking, and then it's the sequence spells sadism. So there you go.
Okay.
No idea what that game is, so let's go with the sadistic game.
Yeah. To be fair, now he's mentioned Half-Life, I think the Ravenholm level on Half-Life 2 is quite a good shout for a scary level.
Also an amazing level, by the way.
Yes,
it's a great game design. Okay, so that's and Craig says he doesn't play scary games, but he's gonna be streaming Phasmophobia, which is a new game that's out at the moment, which is you're a ghost hunter essentially, I think. So those are the ones they have said, and I'll talk about the movies in a second. So let's go with games first. So what's your answer then?
Well, we might as well say it at the same time. It's Silent Hill.
It's Silent Hill, yes. It is Silent Hill, yeah.
I think
the music, the
atmosphere, the way the radio crackles when there's some enemies nearby, the fog, the way that you can't see so much. I think the enemies, the fact that it doesn't. The thing that it doesn't rely on jump scares so much. It's more just the atmosphere. It's really creepy,
eeriness,
and foreboding, and it's eerie. Yeah, that's great. So for me, I think Silent Hill is quite above a lot of the others. And now I've said that, I'm thinking I might have to replay Silent Hill.
I mean, Silent Hill is just phenomenal, isn't it? Like everything you said, I echo everything you said. But he did so many things right, as well. And like with remember the map, what he used to write on a map, or like this part.
That was the first time I'd seen anything like that. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
Everyone does that now, fair enough. Mm-hmm. But when it happened on that one, it was the first time. I remember the sound design was great as well. And the story was fantastic. The story was truly good as well. That is an excellent game. And I'm going to say this now. I want a Resident Evil 2 style remake of that game. I'm ready for it. I think that I'm all there for it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think Silent Hill is one of those. It was just so of its time. And a lot of the things, like specifically the fog, it was built from the tech at the time, and it was, it's one of those cases of great art being born out of the restrictions. And I actually think if they had sort of essentially unlimited technical power as they almost do now, I'm not sure it would work quite so well.
No, yeah, you might be right, and I know you said I haven't really played it that much. I played only a bit of it, but you say that Silent Hill 2 is actually better as a game.
It is
as a video game.
Absolutely.
But I think obviously, we're talking in scary wise. We're talking the first one is.
Yeah, I think so, and that had the most impact because again, it was the first one, and you'd seen it before in the second one, sort of thing. So yeah, that's why I'd go with the first one.
Fair enough. Okay, so. Moving on to the scary movies, if I go back to the answers here, we'll start with the Aristo this time. Scariest movie seen was The Cube. I think I seem to remember watching The Cube. It's just somebody stuck in his house or something.
I've heard of it. I do not believe I've ever seen it.
Then we move over to Calvin with Jeepers Creepers. I remember Jeepers Creepers being actually quite a scary.
Yeah, actually, I remember that. Yeah, that is quite a good.
Francis Ford Coppola, that is a proper director as well. And it's not a sometimes.
Was that him? Was it?
Yeah.
I never realised that was him.
Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure. I'm 90. No, I'm 98%. 98% sure it's him.
Yeah. I'm gonna fact check.
Oh, you're gonna fact check. Okay,
I'm interested.
As you fact checked, I'll move over to Dennis. You know, Dennis, he did the Half-Life Alyx show with us. He doesn't play scary games either, but his scariest movie is The Conjuring 1 and 2. I haven't seen either of those, but they sound scary. Am I right, Francis Ford Coppola?
He was executive producer.
Okay, that's probably I remember seeing his name somewhere. Okay, so
yeah.
Okay, fine. So he did not direct it. Apologies.
He did not.
He was involved in it, though. Executive producer.
Yes, he was involved. Yes.
Executive producer is the one that gets all the, brings all the people in and stuff like that, and make sure that you have the, all the resources you require. Okay, right. So moving on to us then, scariest movie. I mean, we will talk about precast.
Again, we can say it at the same time.
It's Alien, isn't it?
It's Alien.
Of course it is. I mean, listen. Okay, it's for me. It's like this. Yeah. I find that even though movies are movies, I find that because ghosts for me, I don't believe in ghosts. It's not a thing. Yeah. And I know you're gonna say, "Oh, aliens are not a thing either." Well, they can be. Right. So that's the difference, right?
Aliens are a thing.
Exactly. It's just
maybe not quite like from the movie, but aliens are a thing. Let's just
exactly
be clear about that.
Exactly. So to me, that's more scary than a demon or a ghost. So it is Alien. I watched it when I was very young and I was scared shitless. The other answer for me, which is an absolutely superb movie, and it's more on the demonic side of things, is The Exorcist. The Exorcist is a fantastic. It's not so.
It's all right.
It's not so scary. It's just really good, I think.
It is a good movie. I think it's been talked about too much, and it's like it comes up in these sort of things a bit too often, I think. And to be fair, going back to the game, could almost have put Alien Isolation as the game as well. Although I'd say that's more just tense more than anything. Rather than not necessarily scary, but I think it's just a really tense game.
Scared the shit out of me, man.
How have you been getting on with it anyway?
Oh, fantastic! Yeah.
How many more hours have you played since the last podcast?
Oh,
was recorded?
I think 0.
Okay, just thought I'd check. And I think other shout outs for movies. For me, I don't think they're necessarily scary as such, but I really like the first Halloween movie.
Yeah.
The original one. I think that's brilliant. I do like the Friday the 13th ones as well. And I've also been giving some thought to rewatching the other one, Nightmare on Elm Street. It's been a long time since I've seen that. I've watched I've watched Halloween and Friday the 13th pretty recently. So I might be up for a bit of a rewatch of Nightmare on Elm Street series.
On the Nightmare on Elm Street, I remember when I was younger, I had the first 4 on VCR on tape.
Yes.
And I remember the 4th one being my favorite out of the first 4. I don't know why, but that's the one I liked. So as a kid.
That's unusual.
So watching it now, I'm not sure. But onto scary movies, Quiet Place is fantastic. We were talking about a precast. Get Out, Us. They're all excellent movies. I had another one in the tip of my tongue, but it's just gone. Those are all, oh yes. There's one with Nicole Kidman. By a Spanish, the others, by a Spanish director called The Others. That's a great movie as well. I think that's if we go for the most ghosty thing. Oh, and the Babadook. Have you seen the Babadook?
Yes, the Babadook's good.
Babadook is good. That is a bit scary as well. That one.
It's a good name as well. It's good to say Babadook.
Yeah, it's a great. I've started this thing. I only done it one time, but I love it. It's I call it good word chess. Okay. So we'll do it when I'm streaming with somebody, yeah? So I'll say something like, but it needs to be real words. I'll say something like cul-de-sac, yeah? And then you have to come in with a you need to come in with a word to counter cul-de-sac, and then we keep going, backwards and forwards until somebody cannot counter with a good word. I call it good word chess. I invented it. I've never seen it before, so it is my invention. Do you like it?
It is, yeah, I do like it.
We can play that for 4 hours. I think you'll be good at it.
Yeah, I do like it. I have a friend. Our basically only communication is sending funny words to each other.
Yeah.
We basically, that's how we communicate. We just send messages with when we find a funny word, and it's essentially a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, I like the idea of your good word chess.
Yeah. I like it as well. It's good. but that's scary. I thought scary enough. I mean, Calvin touched on Dead Space. I don't think we touched on it a lot ourselves. I think Dead Space 1 and 2 especially are quite scary and absolutely excellent. I am a bit of a Dead Space apologist, and I actually quite like the third one still. Not as good as the first two, but I quite like it still. I still enjoy it.
And that doesn't come into the realms of scary. That's
an
action.
That's a full on action game. And there was what Prey. The most recent Prey was quite scary and actually quite excellent as well. I don't think you played that game, did you? It's truly excellent. Truly excellent. I think you like it. I believe it's on Game Pass.
It is, yes. I've toyed with the idea, but
of course it is. They own the thing. They own the studio, don't they?
It's just not the sort of game that I'm into playing at the moment. Just not feeling it.
Remind me if you did play and you do like Deus Ex, right?
Yes, I like the original. I enjoyed the first of the new ones.
Yeah.
The most recent one I wasn't that keen on.
Okay, I quite like it, but I'm a Deus Ex apologist. But Prey is Deus Ex in space. That's the only way to describe it. It's that good. It's of that caliber actually, and it's a very similar gameplay to Deus Ex, but it's in a space station rather than in a not dystopian, but what's the word? Another word for
cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk, but as a what's the other word when it's you know what I mean, when it's everything's not quite right. It is dystopian, isn't it? Of course it is. Sorry, I had the word right away. It is dystopian. Dystopian cyberpunk. Never mind. I'm having a moment.
We're starting with a ramble instead of ending with a ramble today.
Yeah, I think why not? Why not? Let's move over to the next part of the show we like to call That Looks Interesting, and that's when we talk about video game news. Right. So Marius, you want to talk about? Sony has announced the PSVR adapter for PS5, and I think they're giving it for free, right?
Yeah, they are. But again, it's just. I think there's a few things in here in this story. Firstly, just the bit of a like Sony way of doing things. It's almost like a Nintendo thing to do, to be honest with you. So firstly. Excuse me. The PlayStation 5 camera doesn't work with PSVR.
Okay.
So you have to use a PS4 camera, and the PS5 doesn't have the correct socket to connect a PSVR either.
Right. Hang on a second. Let me try and unrumble this here. So they're giving you an adapter for the PSVR, right?
Yes.
And you have to use your PS5 camera. So
you have to use PS4 camera.
Yeah. But it does work on the PS5, the PS4 camera.
Yes, it does.
All right, I guess then.
Yeah. But yeah, so you have to basically write to them or whatever, go on their website to order a adapter for your PSVR in order to plug in to your PS5.
I don't think that's that bad.
No, the fact is, what it questions to me is, how much do they really give a shit about VR, and are they going to continue supporting VR in the future if they couldn't find a way to make the PS5 camera work with it, and the headset to work with it natively?
Okay, so the camera part, I would imagine that the new camera will be better. I would imagine, right?
Yes.
So why that cannot work? Maybe it's software. So I take your point on that. But if you have a PSVR, you have the first camera, so that would work. As for the adapter, I'm actually behind them on this one here. Because think about it for a second. I mean, I don't know what they've done, yeah, but I don't know what. But let's talk about USB instead. Yeah, I know it's not USB. Let's talk about USB. You have USB 2, you have 2.1, you have USB C. Yeah, so USB C does a lot more, right? So they might be thinking future-wise, we need USB C for the next headset we're gonna release. So we're not going to put a weaker connection here just so that we can cater to the existing PSVRs. Instead, we give those people an adapter, so USB-C to essentially, if you use that, so that the old people, the old users can use it. But then we're future-proofing it for new hardware. I'm actually behind them on this one. I think that's absolutely fine. If that's why they done it, you know. Mm. And I would imagine that's why, because why would you change it otherwise? You know, they're not in the business. I mean, what's happening? I'm defending Sony. What the fuck is happening with me? Ben, get out of me! I'm being possessed by Ben. I think it's Halloween. Ben has jumped in.
Yeah, I'm a bit more skeptical of it. I think. I mean, it's great that they found a way for it to work with the PS5. It could have been worse, couldn't it? They could have been
working. Yeah, work. Exactly. And that would have been the Sony thing to do in the past, actually, more. Actually.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I'd like to hear what their plans are for VR.
I would imagine, and by the way, Apple did that, and they keep doing that, and so they did that when they left, you know, the old 32-pin connector they had, and they went with Lightning.
Yeah.
They did that. They came up with a couple of adapters, and when they dropped the 3.5 jack for the headphones, they gave with every single phone they sold, here's an adapter, so you can use your thing. Now that adapter no longer comes in a box. They did it for a couple of years or whatever, and now it's like whatever, you know, either get one with Lightning or one which is obviously wireless. And why? Because they wanted to have that connection which was more future-proofing. So that's how they did. They mitigated in the meantime by giving you an adapter and then told you to fuck off because buy the new one if you want. I think that's fine. I think that's you don't want to, because of, I know they sold quite a lot of PSVRs, so you don't want to, because they want to cater to that, they're gonna hurt future development of when you need more bandwidth going through the cables just for that. So I think I'm okay with that. Don't forget as well, the PlayStation is like 7 years old, PlayStation 4. So that connection there is probably no longer standard, you know, like, or there's a lot more advancements. So yeah, I'm behind them on this one. Actually, I think that, I mean, at least they're giving you a free adapter. They're not making you pay for the adapter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They're giving you a free adapter, and you can still use the other PlayStation camera. No, I'm with them on this one. It's a shame they didn't make the the new camera work, but they might do it in the future. You know.
Yeah, indeed.
That sounds like software to me. Cool. Right. Moving on to my bit of news. Cyberpunk delayed again, which is I think it's the 6th or 7th delay they've done on this game now. This game, you want to feel old now. You want to feel old. This game was announced in 2013. That was 7 years ago. Am I the only one which is happy about this? I'll tell you why.
Probably, yeah.
I'll tell you why. For a few reasons, but I'll tell you why. Main reason, yeah. I've already bought the game. I know I say don't buy games, don't pre-order the games, and I still stand by it. But the game is bought. It's bought and paid for, and is ready to go whenever it comes out, right? For me, it's already on my library. Just cannot download it yet because it's obviously not available. I'm playing Watch Dogs at the moment, more on that in the playlist. I'll be playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla in a couple of weeks when it comes out, you know? And that game was going to come out at the same time, Cyberpunk. Now, it's been delayed, so now I can finish Assassin's Creed, and then in December, I can play Cyberpunk.
Finish, come on.
I finished the other Assassin's Creed. The last one, Odyssey. I did. 100% it, actually. Yeah. Which is one of the... I haven't 100% of the game in a long time. I 100% of that game, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was fucking brilliant. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Just, I love all that Greek history and shit like that. I just eat it all up. I love it. Anyway, and I like Viking shit as well. So I'm hopefully gonna be eating all that Viking stuff up as well. Big fan. So, but the reason why they said they're releasing now, they're releasing the game onto 9 platforms. So obviously the old Xbox One, PlayStation 4, the new PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC as well. Yeah, so I think it's 9 total. And because of COVID and everyone working from home, it's becoming problematic to test this game, so they need a bit more time. Yeah, that's what they said to the public, and partly I think that's true. What they said to their investors in a meeting, because they have to publish the minutes from the meeting, is that they need to guarantee a 90 plus Metacritic average. So they wanted to make sure they had the best product possible that's going to go to the reviewers of the game. And the only thing that's sad about that is that we're not reviewers of the game. That's the only thing sad about that. I'm okay with that. Listen, if you're saying we need more time to make the product better, what's wrong with it? Yeah, I mean, I know the game needs to come out at some point, but it's only 3 weeks. I think that's fine. What do you think?
Oh yeah, because it's fine. Whatever, get over it. It's only a video game.
Exactly.
You can wait a few weeks for it. Yeah. So it's like it is annoying when it's something that you're looking forward to, and you like you know, you do get excited about certain new game releases. So it's one of those. I'm not as excited about it as everybody else. So for me, I'm not bothered. I guess if it was a game that I cared more about, I would be more fussed about it. But even so, get over it. First world problems. You're talking about a video game for entertainment here. You can wait.
I have an answer for the first world problems, which I use all the time now. I heard it somewhere and I love it. Yeah. It is a first world problem. I live in the first world and it's a problem to me. Okay, which is a great answer. Because normally when you say that, people go like, "All right then, I guess I'll go back in my hole then." Yeah, you're right. That's because you're not a Witcher fan. You haven't played The Witcher, have you? Witcher 3, really? You know?
No, I have not.
Witcher 3 is fucking phenomenal. I mean, truly phenomenal.
I don't doubt that.
You would like The Witcher 3, actually. You would like The Witcher 3. He has at points his Game of Thrones vibes to it as well. It's really good, you know. It's a great game. Many of our listeners actually rank it as the best game they've ever done. The Witcher 3.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do.
Yeah, so it's up there for me. Top 5, maybe top 10. Yeah, it's there. It's up there somewhere. I think it is that good. But yes, it's delayed. It's fine. It's coming out this year still. And to be fair, even if they said, "Oh, it's only coming out in January," I'm like, yeah, fine. You know, there's so many games to play at the moment. I know. I want to play the best version of that, and we can move on to the playlist straight away if that's okay with you, and move over to Watch Dogs Legion. So I've been playing Watch Dogs Legion, and when I say it's okay, you know, release the game when it's ready. I'm streaming Watch Dogs Legion, and I think 3 times it just crashed to desktop, the game. You know, I mean, yes, it could be my PC. Of course, it could be my PC. But I play games on it every day. I play lots of different games. I play games which proper make it sing, like Microsoft Flight Simulator. Make my honestly feel like a turbo engine is coming out of my side here. So I play games that proper beat it up, and they don't crash. So Watch Dogs is crashing, you know. So this is a game that came out. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna patch it, etc. But would I have preferred to wait 2 or 3 more weeks for Watch Dogs and then it doesn't crash twice while I'm streaming in 2 hours or an hour and a half actually, or wait 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever it needs to be and then play the game and it doesn't crash at all? I'll prefer to wait a bit more and not crash. So if Cyberpunk are working on fixing those bugs like that, I'm okay with it. Interestingly though, Watch Dogs Legion has also had a big this is kind of news. It's not as happened to me because I haven't got that far. It has a game breaking bug on it that only happens on the Xbox Series, Xbox One X at the moment. It appears to be, and it's on a mission called 404. I kid you not, mission called 404. Yeah, the Xbox says it's overheating and it just switches off. Just switches off and then it cools down and then it can start again and it crashes again on the same thing. So they apparently they've already patched that. So, but yes, we got Pot on chat saying he loves Watch Dogs is awesome, and they're having he's saying that there was no problems on the PS4, which is great. But so for me, I've only played a bit. When you start the game, you get to pick one of like 16 different characters. You can play. They all have like different perks. and different walks of life kind of thing. And then I picked the girl, pick the random girl, and started the game. But this game, as you know, is you can enlist anyone you want, anyone you see, any NPC. You can enlist to join the cause, join the fight. And I saw this old lady, and I thought, I'm gonna have to enlist an old lady. Of course, that's she hasn't got the melee attack, she hasn't got the physical attributes, but it's an old lady. She's gonna kick ass. Of course, I'm gonna enlist her. And the way it works on the enlisting is you kind of like earmark somebody for enlisting, like earmark this person, and then eventually you have to do some side missions involving that person to then bring them into the cause. That's really cool, and some of them have perks, like I said. Some of them might have they better with assault rifles, or they're better with melee attacks, or they're better at hacking certain types of components. And the story. Story. London is pretty much being taken over by this militia type, private company that is trying to destroy DedSec. DedSec has been wrongly accused of bombing London, and obviously it's cyberpunk. It's futuristic. It's London, but it doesn't quite look like London because everything is like a bit more futuristic. I've never played the Watch Dogs games before, so I'm probably going to say a lot of things that you're going to go like, yeah, that was on Watch Dogs before. I love the fact that you can be on a car, on a bike, or anything, and you can look at the car in front of you and just point at it and make it go right, so you can make it move out of your way. So those things are cool. I like the fact that you can pretty much open any door with your phone, and some of them you might have to obviously do some hacking on it, but I like the fact that you can use everything and anything to aid you, so that it does have that thing of each mission you can complete it in so many different ways, because you can just go ahead and sneak past and just smack everyone in the back of the head if you have a heavy character, or if you have a hacking character, you can just pretty much hack everything and just hack their phones and or get a little spider drone and go and just knock them all out with electricity and stuff like that. So you can do it. You can complete missions in any which way you can, like that, or want. And it looks good. It does look good when it doesn't crash. It does have ray tracing, the reflections only, not the light. But all the puddles of water reflect exactly what's happening, and the mirrors and the glass, all like what it used to. So it does look pretty on the on PC. I only played, I would say, 2 or 3 hours, and it's crashed on 2 or 3 hours. It's crashed, I think, 4 times for me now. So I'm not gonna play it anymore until there's a patch. So there's other games that can be going on with it, and then I'll probably revisit it in a couple of weeks and see where we are. I was lucky enough to go back to it, but the crashing is just not happening for me.
Can't handle that. With the picking any character and recruiting them, how different are the characters? Is it just they have different stats, or are their move sets different, or are they essentially just the same character with different stats?
From what I can see so far, and I'm very early on, it's mostly different perks more than stats. I think stats they're all similar. It's just more the perks you have. But also could be some things they already have. So you might pick a character that owns a Lamborghini type car, so that's their personal car. So they have their car always available. So it could be that as well. But it's also their personality. So this old lady that I'm trying to recruit, she's a hacker, and she was hacking into the NHS to try and but not to try and siphon anything out, to try and fix some things that were going wrong with the NHS. So they were like hacking the organ donors, so they were getting all the organs themselves rather than being fair. So she went and tried to fix that. So I think it's personality, what perks they have in terms of, it could be something they already have to start with, or it could be that like they're really good as a as a hacker, or it could be that type of stuff, or really good driving. So I guess if you hack and I've heard, I haven't tried it yet, I heard you can potentially recruit the Queen, and I'm gonna I want Queen in my side. I wanted to have a handbag and just...
Oh, absolutely. If that is genuinely possible, that has to be done, doesn't it? That's essential.
I'm hacking the Queen, and I'm gonna go around with the handbag and the corgis and fuck everyone up. So that's what I'm gonna do. So yes, I like it. I like it a lot actually. But the crashing, no. So I'm gonna have to wait a bit. I cannot be dealing with the crashing, especially when I'm streaming. You can imagine. If I'm not streaming, I don't mind so much. But when you're streaming, it's forget about it. Right. So that's Watch Dogs Legion. Let's move over to you. You've been playing. Let's start with the Katana Zero then. Just what do you think about that?
Yes, I like Katana Zero. So it's a sort of side-scrolling platform game. You basically play this hitman. The general story is there's been a war. You were sort of a mercenary in the war, and the powers that be were using this drug on these sort of super soldiers, basically, which allows them precognition so that they can see what's going to happen before it does, which obviously made them better soldiers. And this is afterwards, when they've basically now been used as assassins. So like it's, for me, it feels a bit like Hotline Miami, both in terms of the sort of style and what you're doing. It is essentially go from room to room. It's quite a sort of basically one shot and you're dead type scenario, but you can slow time down, which allows you then to you can deflect bullets back on enemies with your sword, and it's just a lot of fun. It's one of those things. It's like just a screen at a time sort of thing. Some of which are really difficult. Like it's almost like a puzzle trying to work out how to make your way through the screens. And I think one of the reasons it works so well is because its bloody save system works really well, and it saves very intelligently. It doesn't make you redo a room if you've already cleared it. Once you've cleared it, it's done, and that's it. You just move on to the next one, and I almost never had to repeat anything, even when I had to leave sort of mid game for one reason or another. It just, when I came back, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to have to replay a bit to get back to there, but I never had to. It was done perfectly. And again, I go on about this, but it's a perfect length game. 4-6 hours, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was probably about 4 hours or so it took me. Yeah, really good. Highly recommend Katana Zero. It is an excellent game.
Yeah, I think I need to give that a go, especially if it's not as long as that. That sounds cool as fuck. I forgot to put the game here. Let's talk about. I'll talk about the next game, which is Dwarfheim. Have you heard of Dwarfheim at all?
No.
Brand new. It's in early access. It's not your type of game at all, but I think you'll appreciate.
The name tells me that. I already know I don't care what it is. The name is enough for me to go, not for me.
It's not for you when I explain a bit more, but I think even though it's not your type of game, you're gonna go like, that's interesting, right? Mm-hmm. RTS game, right? So
yeah, I'm backing away.
Think Warcraft. Think that type of Age of Empires. That type of game type. But what happens on those games normally is, let's say I'm playing the game against you, yeah, on like a game like Age of Empires, right? You make your villagers go and get wood, or go and get some coal and gold, etc. And then with the villagers will build houses, and certain houses like barracks will build armies will go and attack. Right, that's the general thing, and most of them have variations. And that's some of them you can create heroes, some of that you can create other things, but most of them work around that scenario. And then I'll go and attack you, or you're going to attack me. Or some games you can win with a technology advancement. So if you build a type of wonder or something, that's how you win the game. So that's how they always been, and they're great. And you don't like it, fine. So this one kind of like knocks it on his head. So what he does is he identifies 3 different types of player. You have your builders that build the houses, build the everything. You have your miners that will go and the dwarfs, of course, they're going to be miners, yeah, that go and mine for gold, silver, etc., and so on, coal, and then you have your warrior, right? So that's what they do. So they separate the three, and what they want you to do is they want you to. This is a multiplayer game. It's best played online with people, right? So let's say you and I are playing this game now, and we have somebody else. Ben is playing with us as well, okay? So you could be the builder, I'm the miner, and Ben is the warrior, for instance, right? So that means that you only have access to the building part of the game. But because you only have access to that, that's expanded. So there's a lot more options in terms of building. And I played as a miner so far. So with mining, first of all, the mines, so the map is always divided in two. You have the top layer of the map, which is your map. And then you have the underworld, which is the mines. And there's different entrances into the mines, and then they also come out in different parts of the map. So you can go underworld, work underworld, and come up in a different part. So it's really clever for when you're attacking or stuff like that. But as a miner, you have to create a conveyor belt. You literally creating conveyor belts to get you get the dwarfs mining, and then but then the resources are shared. So then you might be going like, oh shit, I need to build more of these houses so that he can build more warriors, but I need more gold. I'm like, shit. So again, you can actually see where the gold is. So you get so I'm the miner, so you're communicating that to me. So I'm going and go and get more of gold. So I'm prioritizing the gold now production. But then it's not just that. With the gold, you collect the gold. You need to crush the gold on the conveyor belt. You need to melt it, create a heat get off it, and then certain types of alloy. You need to mix two alloys together. So you have to get conveyor belts that join the two together to make this other alloy. So the mine is always fucking. It's almost like that game is it Overcooked or something? The one where you having to try and keep everything going. And you're the builder, so you're trying to build the defenses and towers and stuff like that. And then the warrior go like, "Fuck, I'm under attack here. I need more of this. I need more of this certain resource or this type of building so that I can defend the builder." So you're kind of all working together. And that's the difference to normal RTS games. Because on a normal RTS game is you do all of that yourself, but all of it is very low level because it cannot be that intricate. Because if you start having to do conveyor belts for the mining, forget about it. You're not going to be able to keep the other plate spinning of you being of building the houses and running your army or your navy. So those games they kind of like dumb down all of these actions, so you can do them all at the same time. But because you're sharing all the things, they able to expand extensively on each of the roles. It's excellent. Yeah, that's it. It's a great idea. I don't think I've seen it before, and it's a great idea. And you can play 3v3 online, and it's great.
I agree. It sounds like a good concept.
Yeah, Dwarfheim, fantastic. It's on early access though, so obviously a few bugs here and there. But hey, you didn't crash though, so that's something, isn't it? That's something. Watch Dogs. Right, you will play Enforcer 7 at my recommendation.
Yes, I did. Yes, I thought I'd give it a shot. I agree with some of what you said. I think in particular the weather, the rain effects, and the way it sits on the tracks on the road, it is just phenomenal. It's the best.
Yeah.
Version of that. It's a stupid thing to talk about, but it does make a difference. It really looks brilliant, and it affects your cars. I think obviously they've got the racing, like the physics and whatnot. I think is done really, really well.
Yeah.
As a racing game, it is. The racing is top notch in terms of the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't like about it, it's got zero personality.
Okay. I think I see where you're coming from. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just found it really boring. It puts in these stupid, unskippable introductions and things, like right at the start. I just want to play a goddamn racing game which involves me driving around the track. And there was this big long introduction of telling me all about how I'm going to be an amazing driver. It's like, yeah, I know that. Just let me fucking do it. You're looking
they're skippable. I'm definitely.
I pressed every button.
Okay, I don't remember having to
with increasing levels of anger, and it didn't matter how hard I was whacking those buttons, nothing happened.
I think I take your point on missing a bit of personality. I think Forza and I think Forza Horizon has a lot more personality actually.
It has more personality, definitely. Yeah,
definitely. But it doesn't have them water physics mode.
It doesn't have the water physics.
So it's kind of like, which one do you want? You know, I kind of like the water physics. So I love the fact that you can start to race and it's overcast, and then throughout the race it starts raining and starts pouring down.
Yeah.
And it really affects the race. I really like the dynamic weather on it. I think it's what I like about it.
Yeah, it is good, but I just want to just race. There's too, like I said, there's too many of these intro videos. At one point, I think Kim or something came home or something like that. I can't remember. So I just wanted to exit the fucking game. And this goes for a few games, but Forza was a real bad example. Just wouldn't let me exit the game. The amount of times I had to go back to another menu, back to another one, and then it gave me another one of these fucking video things saying you've unlocked this, now you can do it. So I just want to close the game. Just let me exit the goddamn game, will you?
I'll say this. I think I seem to remember the some of them or most of them was skippable, but fair enough. But I'll say this: after you do the first few missions, it doesn't show up again. It's a non thing anymore. You know?
I get that, but for me it was just too. I didn't. Like I say, it was the personality of the game I didn't like. Those things annoyed me, and yeah, the driving's great, but I was just a bit bored of it, to be honest with you. It didn't quite excite me enough. But
fair enough.
I think if you were into like full-on simulation and you got the racing wheels and you want to turn all of the bloody assists off and all of that sort of stuff, what's your approach to the racing line? You know, the guide that
braking only.
You have braking only on there. Yeah,
braking only.
Yeah.
So and that's because I'm shutter braking. Yeah, but because there's certain assists that turn off the braking line as well. Certain cards. The more you learn, and this is what I like about games like this. Certain tracks, because I've played quite a lot of that game now. Actually, you start to know the tracks. So when it goes like, do you want to turn the braking off? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll turn the braking assist off, and you don't need it because it's inside you all along, so you know where to brake now instantly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I never quite found the right thing. I think like the braking only is okay. Like once, but like back in the day when I used to play Gran Turismo, never had the racing line on. I don't even remember if it was an option. I don't think it was a thing.
Not in the original ones, no.
And you know that made me much better at the game because I was actually learning the tracks. So now I'm in a quandary because I don't have the time to learn the tracks so much as I used to. I don't put as many hours into those sort of things, so I sort of want to just play it and not be crashing. I know you can rewind on Forza, which makes it easier.
So this is what I do. I turn the rewinding off. No rewind, no steering assist. So I don't want any help.
Yeah. I hate the steering assist. I hate the braking assist.
Yeah, both of them off completely. I want to be able to. I leave the ABS on because cars have ABS. It's a standard thing, right?
Yes.
So I leave I leave some of those ABS and traction control. I leave some of them on. Braking. I leave braking line only because especially when you're learning the tracks. You're going at fucking 200 miles an hour, and then you see a bit of red. You're like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna have to brake soon." so it just gives you that. I don't really, because it goes from yellow to really red. I don't really follow that to the T. I just kind of play by out, and sometimes I just crash because I'm thinking, "Oh, I know better than you," and then the thing just crashes. I like it though. I like how it looks. I like the racing part of it. I think. As a racer, I love it. I love the racing, and And yes, I did notice you played it, actually, now that I think about it, because your very aggressive Drivatar was cutting me off at any opportunity he has, fucking smashing it to me.
I'm glad. Yeah, I saw yours on there a couple of times.
I'm probably a bit aggressive as well, because I also like to hit hard if I can sometimes. You know, the way I look at it is if you won or if you came second or won the first race against me, if I take you out. And even if I finish third, you're gonna finish way back there. So I'm a bastard when it comes to that. Yeah, cool. So so it seems like you like it, you just don't like certain.
It was good. Like it's like as a racing game, it's clearly great. The actual racing itself is brilliant. It's all the stuff around it just didn't work for me.
Okay. Let's move on to a game. It's a perfect segue in a way, because this is a game that I have almost exactly the same reservations you have now. Exactly, but on this game, which is Trials Rising, right?
Right, yeah.
I'm a big Trials fan, as you know. Trials HD, fucking spot on. Even back on when it was a Java game. Love those games. I think it was Evolution, the one that came after HD. That was excellent as well. My God, this is the worst UI and the worst menus I've ever seen on any game ever made in the history of video games. Yeah, this has too much personality, as in shit personality. Yeah, here's a map of the world. You know, like this is where you can have all the different races. And yes, some of the races are world specific. The Spanish one there's one in Spain with the tomatoes. You know, like you know. So yeah, I can kind of see what they're trying to do. I kind of almost want here's each race we've done.
Yeah.
There's a line of them. Go by one by one. You know, do them all. You know, fine. When I'm racing, I don't know if it's a setting I need to turn on at the moment. Back on the old Trials, if you played the game, I know you haven't played this one, but if you played the game, I'll see your ghost. Because you're my friend, right? So I'll play and I'll see your ghost, and I had a passer, or you can go ahead of me. This one, they just pick 3 different random ghosts from the internet, from anyone. And I'm like, why am I not seeing my friends? You know, I have friends that play the game. Why am I not seeing my friends here? Why am I seeing random ghosts? I don't care if Sergeant Pepper 32. How is that on this race? You know, shit. Like he crashed on the first thing, but I want to see my friends. So that's not there. Also, this game came out last year, I think, or the year before.
At least 2 years ago.
Okay, fine. A couple years ago. It's not long ago. It's less than 3 years. So I'm trying to say, yeah, it looks fucking rubbish, man. I mean, this is, you know, Ubisoft we're talking about here. You know, put some. I mean, maybe I'm spoiled here at the moment. We're playing games like Force and other games like that, but you know. Put some polish on your game. The game looks fucking like an ass. Honestly, it doesn't look great.
I'm sure it's older than that, man. I think you're.
Here we go. I'm being fact checked again.
Yeah, you are.
But when I get all of that shit away, and when it goes to the racing and the trying to do the whole track without bailing and trying to beat your score, it's Trials and it's great. You know, and mountain climbing and doing all of that type of stuff. I like it. I played on multiplayer against friend of the show, Mr. Ben, and he skanked me. Can only be described as a skunk. I was like, what have you found out on that?
Yeah, you're right. It feels like a lot older than that.
It looks a lot older than that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was only February 2019. Yeah, so it wasn't. God, I swear I played that a lot longer than that. Hey, there you go.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't look for the year. It doesn't look that good. So I played online against Ben, and Ben skanked me because he's got a few hours on it, and that's fine, you know. But the way and he obviously picked tracks I didn't know, but that's fine. That's not the skank part, you know. You need to learn the tracks, yeah. And I beat him on a couple. He beat me on a couple other ones. But then when he saw that I'm actually, you know, not bad, even though I've only played like a couple hours of the game, you know, because obviously I'm a Trials. Play different routes. He goes like, "Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll put the last few tracks you get, like the really hard ones, but I haven't got a bike for it. So literally, my bike would not go up. I'm like, it's like, and it's finished. Oh, how's it going for you? I'm like, my bike cannot go up here. You put the track where I haven't got a bike. So then I just quit the game. He's like, oh, you rage quitting. I'm not rage quitting. My bike cannot go up the track. You put the track that I literally don't have the bike for it. So what can I do? You know what I mean? Too many cosmetic stuff as well. Oh my god.
Yeah, I agree. I did play it.
I almost want for me Trials it needs to be like do a Trials HD like remake kind of thing. Like give me a Trials HD. You have X amount of different bikes. Maybe you can change the color on them. That's it. That's probably enough. Yeah. Maybe you can change the color on the wheels or something. That's probably too much.
Yeah, I think it's trying too hard to add different things to it, and that's not what Trials is about. Yeah. It should just be like you say, it's about the gameplay, it's about the mechanics. It should just be about getting to the end of each course. You don't need all of that other crap.
No, you don't need all that. To me, I almost want give me a Trials game where you pick all the best tracks from all the Trials games. Pick all the best tracks. Doesn't matter if they're repeated. All the best tracks from all the Trials games. Put them there. Try and make it pretty as possible, like with them, and let me play against my friends and try and beat the times. That's what I like about Trials. So the gameplay is there. But the game is honestly, the UI is just there's like 6 different pages of UI, and it took me like a minute to try and realize how to get a multiplayer game going because there's so much shit on the screen, honestly. And there's like 5 different types of fucking loot box you can get. I don't care. I don't care, about that. That's not what Trials is about. Trials is about trying not to bail. That's what Trials is, and that's still there. That part. And some of the new tracks are cool. There was a particular track I quite liked, which is on the train.
Just a second.
You're on a train going forward. Obviously, the train is on the track, and you kind of like you're racing on top of the train, and that's like jumping from thing to thing. That was quite cool, actually. That was quite a clever little level. All right, so that's Trials Rising, and the reason I played that and I played Watch Dogs Legion is because even though I said it's a stupid idea, for this month of November and maybe December, depending on how it goes, I decided to get Uplay Plus because there's a couple games coming out now, Watch Dogs Legion and obviously Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where I thought rather than paying £60 or £50 a game, whatever they cost, both of them, I'll get the $12.99 for a month or two, depending on how it goes. And you get the premium version, so you get all the add-ons, everything that you can, all the top versions of the games. I can play them, finish them, and then just cancel the subscription. I think it's too expensive to keep it throughout the year. There's not enough stuff there. If there was, I'll be more than happy to play it, but there isn't. If there was 2 games like that coming out every month, then yeah, why not, right? But there isn't, right? That's the problem, and that's where Xbox Game Pass, not only is it cheaper, but they have the maybe not a Watch Dogs Legion, but they have good games coming out.
What is the library like on there? How many of does it cover pretty much all Ubisoft games?
All Ubisoft games.
Right.
So it's good. It's good for, like I said, and I remember saying this. I remember when Ben said he was interested. I said it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I said that a lot. I like saying that. It isn't for this particular scenario that I have now. There's a couple of AAA games coming out, which I want to play both of them, and I would have had to pay £100 for those 2 games, And if I wanted the special editions, more on top of that, right?
Yeah.
Where the way I looked at it is I can get this, and let's say I really like Assassin's Creed and I want to maybe try the DLC when it comes out in 6 months. Nothing is stopping me from buying the game in 6 months for a lot cheaper than £50. I probably can get it for like £20 in 6 months anyway. And it's still up, aren't you? It's still up on it because you still have your save game, you still have everything. So that was my reasoning behind it, and I think on that scenario for a short period of time, it's a good product. If there's more games you want to try, I wanted to try obviously Trials and stuff like that. So I'm happy I tried Trials. I think it's £3 at the moment to buy it. I'm not gonna pay the £3 to buy it. Honestly, I like it, but I don't like it that much, so, for £3. And normally I would just spend the £3 on it, and then it was like, oh yeah, you buy shit, and would have kept it. But yeah, it's okay for a small period of time. I think a short period of time. Right. Really, Tony Hawk's? What more is that to say about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2? The remake.
Well, I'm still going. So, well, actually, I wanted to ask you a question about Tony Hawk's.
Okay.
What is it about Tony Hawk's that because you enjoy Tony Hawk's?
Yes.
why do you enjoy Tony Hawk's? Because I've realised Tony Hawk's is essentially a fighting game. It's entirely around learning combos, which button presses to press when, understanding the animation of each move, so you know when to use it and what timing you have on it. Instead of depleting an energy bar, you're just increasing a score. It has almost all the mechanics of a fighting game, which you always say that you don't like fighting games. Why do you like Tony Hawk's?
Okay, so first of all, I like games like Tony Hawk's and other games of that type, where the more you put into it, the better you get. So you're getting better.
Also true for a fighting game.
Right. Yeah. I actually like the music a lot. I know it's not your type of music, but I think the music is truly excellent. It's my type of music. I like doing high score runs, trying to get the highest score you can as well. Yeah. And I generally think that I think it was Neversoft at the time, wasn't it, that used to do it? They make great levels. They make just great level design, and I think that's why I like Tony Hawk's. I like the fact going and trying to get the collectibles on the game, trying to collect all the tapes or the skate, getting all the words to spells. I like that. It's just I hear what you're saying about some of the mechanics are like like a fighting game, but I almost see it more. I think Tony Hawk's is basically a game like a Spyro the Dragon or a Mario 64. That's the way I look at it. You know.
I can. I'll give you that as well in some aspects of it. Yes.
So yes, you do have. I mean, you do have the high score part. You do have that, but it's also about how do I get to that part of there on top of there. What can I do to get to that top thing there? Because on a game like a Mario, it might be three jumps and then slide off something and then jump on that and land. And that it has this, but with a skateboard. So I think it's more. So it's funny how we kind of like see different games on it. But that's probably why it's so good.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to ask you. I was really, because often you in any game, whether it's a fighting game or like an action game that involves combos, you're always like, oh, there's combos. I can't be asked to learn the combos. I don't want to learn the combos. But that's what Tony Hawk's is built around.
Yeah.
So I was interested, and you're right. It has the various different objectives, and you can play it in different ways. And obviously, I've been playing it for a little while now.
I can see that.
Yeah. and for me now, it's got to. I'm doing the hardest thing in order to get the platinum at the moment.
All right.
And which is essentially for each level there are various. You have to hit. There'll be certain gaps or certain grind rails, and you'll have to hit 3 or 4 of them in one single combo.
Wow. Okay.
And like some of them, in order to do it, you basically have to traverse the whole level, or at least
a lot of Marios as well.
Yeah, so it all has to be one combo. So yeah, you have to do manuals or link it with grinds and stuff like that. And for me, I mean, it's really tough. So some of these are stupidly hard. I spent way more time on it than I probably should have. And I mean, I guess hooray for unemployment, because I think if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have put this much time into it. To be fair, I would have given up on these. But there's something there about that. It's that Mirror's Edge thing that it's really got that getting the perfect run, the strive for perfection, the keep doing it, and then an hour later when you finally manage to get this one combo done, the satisfaction of it is just incredible.
And that's why I like games like Dead Cells, by the way, because I know Dead Cells has a different map every time, and that's that. So you don't get to learn the map, but you get to learn the timings of certain enemies and also it's not procedure generated. It's, I think, randomized. So certain rooms are the same. So learning how to traverse different rooms in order and learning this, when it's this type of room, you need to go this way and that way, and you kind of and then you getting better, and then you put it all into a run where you go from beginning to end without dying. And that's why I like Dead Cells, because Dead Cells to me is the Tony Hawk's off the side of inside.
Put that on the box.
I think I'm starting to think. I'm gonna throw a prediction here. I think Tony Hawk's is gonna be your game of the year. I think it's gonna pass somehow. It's gonna pass The Last of Us 2 and Alex to be the top game. I think the more from all the games you talked about, and you talked about great about both of the other games, of course. But this is the one where I can see it in your eyes. I think this is your game of the year. I think this is your game of the year. And right, it'll be awesome if it is. Anyway,
I mean, if you're basing it in terms of number of hours, it's clearly the winner. I've definitely put more hours into this than any other game this year, by a considerable amount, I would think.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have to look back at the games we played this year, but it's gonna be interesting this year because I mean, Cyberpunk is still yet to come, of course. And that could throw a span in the works. It could not as well, of course. Obviously, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is still coming out as well. Those are the two ones I'm waiting for that could potentially upset the couple apple carts. That way, say? I don't know. No matter. Those ones can do it. But there's been some great games this year. I mean, let's not forget Ori came out beginning of the year, and that was excellent. That was a while ago, and that was an excellent game. I mean, that game is perfect in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with it. With Ori, I don't think from memory anyway. I'll have to revisit it in my head. And there's a few other games like that, but it's gonna be an interesting year this year. See what gets it. Right, let's move on to the final game we've been playing, or you've been playing rather. Is a Kunai.
Kunai, yes.
Kunai, yes.
Yes.
What's this about?
So it's a Metroidvania, essentially.
We had Metroidvania.
I played it. Was it a couple of years ago at EGX?
F's on chat for EGX.
And I enjoyed it. To be fair, I think you saw me playing. You looked at it, shook your head, and walked off. I think you thought it was more of just a platformer rather than the having the Metroidvania-esque. So you essentially like you pay a robot, like you got basically a tablet for a head. And it's really cool. It's really cute. It sort of animates different faces depending on what you're doing. So if you're attacking with your sword, he just puts on this like angry face.
I like that.
And like if he's hanging on a ledge, you can see a sort of like straining on his face. It's sort of a pixel arty style. It's got a very minimalist sort of color palette to it. It's not quite monochrome, but it's like there'll be only sort of 2 or 3 colors on the screen at any one time, and it's really quite a distinctive style. And the reason it's called kunai is that early on you get these 2 kunai, which are a type of knife used by ninjas. Basically, think Scorpion Spear from Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
That's essentially what you're using. So you have one in each hand. So it's got a bit of the Spider-Man feel to it.
Did it say come over here?
He doesn't do the come over here. No,
over here,
he doesn't use. He doesn't actually use them to attack. They're more for traversal. So you can launch the spears up at diagonal angles and then use them to swing along the levels. So that works really well. It's quite a cool mechanic.
A good point. I don't think Scorpion can do diagonal with his come over here, can he?
No, no.
He should be able to. That would be awesome. You jump in the air and you like come over here from the air. That would be fucking awesome. You know. Is it Neversoft that does it still?
You are sorry?
Is it Neversoft that does Mortal Kombat? No, it's not. Whoever does
NetherRealm.
NetherRealm, that's the one. NetherRealm, you can add one for free. Okay.
Yeah. And oh yeah, you can earn different hats to put on as well, which are sometimes amusing. And I'm really enjoying it so far.
Is this another Microsoft Game Pass thing?
No, it was actually one of the Twitch ones. I've had it on my Twitch for ages, ready to play. So one of the games with Prime or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So I've been playing it on there. I think my only complaint so far, in the polar opposite to Katana Zero, the checkpoints and save points are not good for me. You do have to If you die, you do have to repeat. I mean, to be fair, that they save, like, the state of the levels get saved. So if you've flicked a switch to open the door, and you die and go back to the save point, that door will still be open. So you don't have to go and do that again. But to get back to that door, you have to traverse quite a long way. And a few times I've been on the edge of, is this a bit too far? I can't be bothered to do it again, but it hasn't quite put me off yet. And there are a few difficulty spikes there. But part of that it is just getting the right equipment, really, and unlocking the new weapons or whatever to deal with them. And the last boss that I've just done was particularly annoying, a 3-stage boss, and on the 3rd stage, it's a vertically scrolling screen, and he's below you, and you have to obviously sort of race to the top. But you can't see very far up, so you can't see what's coming, so you don't know which way to go. You just sort of have to fire your spears up, and you just attach to whatever you attach to and see what happens. But it's an instant kill if he hits you. And that, for me, that was almost the end of the game for me, but I did manage to do it, but it was very annoying.
I'm gonna say something controversial here now. Yeah, I think most bosses in every game should be one-hit kills. So they hit you, you're gone. I think that's how most bosses should be. You know, obviously make it harder for them to hit you, but think about it. You have a big fuck off there, hit smacks you, and you like lose 10% of your health. Forget about it. You get hit like that, you're dead. That's I want more realism in my bosses. I do.
Well, I understand the logic, but I think the gameplay is a terrible idea.
Fair enough. Okay, that sounds interesting, actually. I do kind of want to play a good Metroidvania. I mean, a proper good one. Where you get certain key cards or certain things to open.
I would actually say Kunai is probably Metroidvania light. I don't think it. I don't think it's quite as full on as that. Did you ever play Axiom Verge?
A bit, yeah, a bit of it. I'll say 2 hours.
That was really good.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
I didn't finish it, but I think something else came along that took my interest. But and I'd gone so far into it, I wasn't prepared to go back to it now. I'd lost track of where I was.
The best Metroidvania that I played that was not a Metroid game. That's because the best
Metroidvania.
Yeah, was Shadow Complex.
Shadow Complex is good.
I really like Shadow Complex. I think that's a great example of a really good Metroidvania. That's a proper Metroidvania. That's like you could take him off and put Samus, and you think that's a Metroidvania.
Ori's good.
Ori is fucking excellent as well. Yes, Ori is excellent. Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. No, Ori is, but Ori. See, Ori is a Metroidvania. Of course it is, yeah. But I think the one that's closer to being a Metroidvania, like a Metroid game, really is Shadow Complex. I love Ori, of course. Ori is great as well. Some good ones there. I wouldn't mind playing another one. I like those games every now and then. Right, okay, let's move on to the last part of the show, which is Why Don't You? This is the part where we give you a recommendation of something to watch, read, eat, anything really. We give you a recommendation for the week, and we'll start with you, Marius.
You have so yeah, I'm going to recommend 3 podcasts because they all come into one broad theme. So rather than spreading them out over several podcasts, it makes sense to do it all in one. And again, this is a recommendation really just for me. Nobody else.
Like I don't know. We have some music fans. I know Craig is a big rave fan as well. Something as well. So there you go.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So these are 3 podcasts all about the rave scene, specifically in England. So the first one's called Raw, 90s rave podcast. That's few people, a couple of people just interviewing really well-known DJs from the sort of 90s rave scene, whether that's sort of Fabio and Groove Rider or Force and Styles and stuff like that, for just talking to them about their experience in the industry, some of their stories and things like that. Get out. So I found that really interesting. Again, it's one of those, I think you if you know, it probably works better if you know of the DJs and have an interest in that. I don't think there's much there for people if you're not particularly interested in them. I think the next one is more a podcast for people that perhaps don't have the interest. It was a series of 12 podcasts from the BBC.
Okay.
It's called Ecstasy: The Battle of Rave, and again, this is less about the music and obviously more about the
lifestyle.
The drug really is what it's about, and what they did. Their alternate episodes. So one episode is an interview with somebody, or sometimes interviews with various people. So it might be with a DJ or one of the promoters, or just or an ecstasy manufacturer. Like one of them, they go to Holland and interview like basically the person where the entire supply of the tablets into the UK came from. And then the second episode, or the next episode, will be like a drama piece. So it will be an actor will be doing a bit about as one of like a character. So, and they have some pretty decent named people on there. Right now, my brain can only remember Adrian Edmondson. He's on one of them. I think he plays one of the promoters. So I think that was quite interesting. So there's some good stories on there, and I think particularly if you don't know much about what went on during that period, it's interesting. And the final one is called the 88 podcast, which again is a guy who used to be a promoter for one of the big raves, speaking to various other people, often the promoters. And what they're trying to do here is speak to people that perhaps aren't really known and aren't normally mentioned in the documentaries, and generally the talk about that sort of era. So that he's trying to get the people that are really less heard of, and I found that really interesting. I think my favourite story on that particular one, I forget which episode it was, but he talks about how they did a rave in a building that was used by one of the film studios. And as it turned out, it was the studio that was involved in Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And somebody, as they were clearing the warehouse ready for the rave, found the Ark, the prop of the Ark, and so they had that and took it home and had it sat in in their front room. And this other guy, essentially, he got a phone call to say, I believe you might have information about where the Ark of the Covenant is. Can we please have the Ark back? I just found that quite amusing. So again, very specific podcast for people that are interested in that sort of thing. But for me, I love it because, I love this sort of music. I go on about it a lot, but I was way too young to attend any of these events or do any of this. It was because my brother, who was 10 years older than me, listened to that sort of music when I was like 8 to 10 years old, when I was sort of listening to that music through osmosis by him listening to it. So that's why I find it so interesting, because I wasn't a part of that, but it's something that I've always been into from a young age. So for me, I absolutely love it.
Yes, my brother used to listen to Nirvana, so there you go.
Yeah, I had my Nirvana stage, but it was never really me.
Yeah. That's cool. Shall post them all on the show notes. And by the way, every game we talk about and indeed recommendation at the end of the show is on the show notes. If you just go on your podcast or even on the website and go to the show notes, you'll have links to all of the things we talk about. Really, I want to talk about a. I'm tempted to put two things now. I think I'm gonna rein myself in and just do the one. I want to talk about the Netflix show, and this is a recommendation for you, Marius, and I'm gonna for everyone. But Marius, I'm gonna throw the card that you have to watch it. Card because didn't we say? I'm gonna say before you say what you're gonna say. I think what we agreed on was you only allowed one of them per year, and I agree.
Yes.
Yeah. However, if the recommendation is valid, you gain your credit back. If it's not valid, you lose your credit. That's what we agreed on.
I don't. No. There was never any talk about credit regain. Absolutely not. That is not.
Because my recommendation of the Peanut Butter Falcon was a spot on.
That was absolutely spot on. Yeah.
The Queen's Gambit. Now, why this is a good recommendation is because A, it's on Netflix. B, looks great, but also it's not series 1, series 2, season 1. It's 7 episodes and that's it. That's just a mini series.
Yeah, I like that.
Over and done with. It's about an orphan girl in America that she's an orphan. Her parents die, and she goes to an orphanage, and she learns to play. This is all in the first episode. She learns to play chess with the janitor, and she's a maths prodigy. She's like a proper maths prodigy, and it's she becomes a chess player, a grandmaster, but well, there's a journey of becoming that, and that's not a big spoiler at all. Trust me when you see it. But it's more about our fight with addiction, both to drugs and alcohol at a very young age. Gets addicted to drugs like age 8 or 9 straight away. So she's from a very young age, and it's obviously not a true story, but it's very realistic in terms of how this is back in the 60s as well. So this is how chess tournaments really how it happened, and also because you have it's a period piece in a way. So you do have all the 60s clothes and cars and all of that, and everyone is smoking everywhere, that type of stuff. It's truly excellent. She's an amazing actress, and everyone is good in this pretty much. Looks great, as I say, and even though it's about chess and it's about how people like this prodigies, essentially, how they see the game completely different, and when she's playing against masters, and then she's like, can you not see it? Can you not see it? If you do that, I'm gonna do this, and then the next 3 moves, or the next, can you not see it? And you're like, no, I cannot see it. And then she's trying to, but they really convey well. Even though I know how to play chess, of course, but you don't need to know anything about chess to realize how well they every now and then there's movies or TV shows that come along and really represent a sport or a thing very well. I remember Raging Bull being a great example of a boxing movie, for instance, and $1 Million Baby, where you don't have to like boxing to go like, well, I really understand the boxing because I've seen this now. This is the same. You really, I think you learn a lot more about chess and about everything by watching this. It's just a great drama. It's a great drama, really. Truly excellent. 7 episodes. Couldn't stop watching. Watch the whole thing. Gone. like an hour long each, but I just watched the whole thing. I just loved it. So yeah, that's The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. It's a Netflix original, so I believe it's available on all places that have Netflix.
Seeing as you've mentioned you must watch this. Your immediate recommendation.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna give you one. Actually, I spoke about it a few podcasts ago.
Before you start, you already gave me one this year, but go on.
What did I give you this year?
You gave me that with Joe Wilkinson or whatever his name is.
Was that this year? Yes.
Okay. Go on, carry on. I'll let you carry on anyway.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So especially, I don't know if you have plans to stream tonight or what you're going to stream. You don't.
I don't do it the weekend. No, Middle East, yeah.
No, fair enough. Yeah. Baz, it's Halloween. I spoke about it a few episodes ago. You need to play Little Nightmares.
Okay.
I really do think it's right up your street. Since the episode when I spoke about it, I did finish it, and I'd forgotten where it went. Okay. Towards the end, and yeah, I think that is a brilliant game, and I think your love of Limbo and Inside, I think, will translate pretty well to this. I consider it to be a very similar game to those two.
Okay, and I'm not gonna give us I will do that definitely. That's not a maybe. That's a will. I will. Play
and again, that's a short. I think 3 hours, something like that.
I'll do that next week for sure. I'm only gonna talk about it ever so slightly here. This is almost gonna be a two-parter. I want to start it here, and on the next podcast I'll finish it. That's how I want to do this next recommendation. It's an audio. It's an audio book by Andrew Hunter Murray. Did you recognize the name Andrew Hunter Murray?
Yeah, he's a comedian.
He's from the
No Such Thing as a Fish.
He is a comedian, but he's from the No Such Thing as a Fish, right? This is his first novel called The Last Day.
Yeah, I've got it on my list ready to listen to. How is it? Obviously good if you're about to recommend it.
I'm 4 hours from the end, so I'm not finished yet. So it's winding up to a finish now. I think it's 12 hours long, so I've listened to most of it. It's excellent. Yeah. So the premise is, without giving much away of how it happened, essentially the Earth stops spinning, or comes to a stop, goes from a slow to a complete stop, and you can imagine, because of this, there's lots of nations trying to guess what it's gonna stop, so they can try and move their their pawns, so to speak, and try and gain a position. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that he finally does stop in England. Oh, not just England, but England is.
Sorry, what stops in England? I'm confused.
The Earth stops spinning, so the sun.
Yes.
Only
the sun.
The sun.
Yeah. You never mentioned the word.
Apologies. Sorry, I didn't explain it properly. So there's going to be a part which is going to be darkness, part that's going to be daylight.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And there's parts that are too much daylight, so they're not good. So it's the parts which are just enough to survive. And the habitable part is not just England, but England, France, all of those that type of part. Yeah. Everything else fucked. So I'm already in because I like my post-apocalyptic. This is an apocalyptic event, so it is that. But what I thought it was gonna be, a book about like The Martian or like that, where it's oh shit, what we're gonna do now that the world is stopping, and that would have been a great book, and I would like to see a prequel almost of that, of all the nations trying to fight for what is gonna land and predict that. And that's the book I thought I was going to read when I bought it. It isn't. This is already a bit more into the future, maybe 20, 30 years more into the future, where it's already stopped, and it's more about the politics of that, and what that's a secret happening, and something, and there's something conspiracy going, and this guy has taken over control of the country, like the militia essentially taken over the country, armies, like martial law taken over the country, and it's more about that. So it kind of like takes a step forward, which I was a bit disappointed to start with, but now when I read them more, I'm like, no, actually I'm reading a drama more about what happened, like afterwards, and it's great as well. So far I think it's brilliant. It's the first novel from him, and it's as you can imagine, it's very well researched, even though it's something does not happen, but how it could happen, and the things that would happen if an event such as this would occur, how would affect things like tides and other such things. It's very well researched, because you're talking about a guy that does researching for a living. That's what he does. He researches facts and stuff like that. So it feels believable in that type of book we like to read, where even though it's fiction, it feels like, yes, some of these things, yeah, if this would happen, then yes, that sounds like the thing that it would happen. It did. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, The Last Day. Next podcast I shall say I'll give you my final nail in the coffin, but I've listened to some good books this year actually already, and the very good books, and this is one of the better ones. And I want to say for a first novel it's great. I think that's giving it a disservice because it is a first novel, but it shouldn't mean anything. It shouldn't mean anything because it's a first novel. It's great. Yeah. So you said you bought it already? Did you say?
No, it's on my list. I've paused my subscription because I'm not having the opportunity to listen to books at the moment.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I'll give you more on that later. There's another one coming out soon, which is Ready Player 2. I was gonna say Ready Player 1 too, but it's called Ready Player 2. That's coming out, I think, this November. It's coming out in a couple of weeks, so I'm excited for that. So I'm gonna finish this one before that, obviously, and move over to that. And more on we'll talk about the development of games earlier, and we want it now. I'm quite happy to wait for games, but I'm almost impatient when it comes to books because there's a new. First of all, when I finished the Bobby Wars book 4, I was like, "Where's 5, please? Thank you." I want another one right away. I was really disappointed that that was finished because that was excellent. And there's a new Andy Weir book coming out. He's done Martian and Artemis. Artemis is great. I don't know if you listened.
Artemis is good. Yeah.
There's another one which is an astronaut stuck in a loop in the Earth or something is an accident or something, a bit like I guess like Gravity, I think, some sort of set. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I want that, please. Coming out in May 2021. I'm like, what's wrong with you, mate? Write faster. And also the World Ship Humility.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
The second book has been written for ages, but they haven't been able to get the guy, the Irish guy that did they haven't been able to the schedule has not happened yet, so he can narrate the second book.
Right.
That's why he's not there yet. He's written it already. I'm like, I want that. Worse. I want that. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's already written, so I want it. The guy's quite busy apparently. It's the guy that plays Merlin. He's really good. He's one of the better ones as well.
Yes, he is good.
I remember when we both had the same thing. Initially we thought, oh my god, this is going to be terrible, all with the Northern Irish accent, and then almost immediately we're like, no, this is good. This is really good. So yes, there's some good stuff coming up on audiobooks. It's fast becoming. I actually think I prefer audiobooks now to reading myself, and I know that's sacrilege to some people listening, but hey, listen, that's
get over it.
That's what I like. I wanted to be read to me with the different accents, please. Thank you. Please, and with the different.
It's just the convenience for me. It's just so much easier. Like like whenever I listen to them, it is driving in the car. So it's just I get to use that sort of almost wasted time to get a book in, whereas. For me now to sit at home and read a book, especially with a young daughter and whatnot, it's just it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, but that's it. That's what I like. I'm more on that. I'm not even gonna put it on the show notes. I'll put it on the next podcast when I finish it. But because I want to make sure they stick the landing. I want to make sure he sticks the landing because the big secret is not been revealed to me yet. And it could be a MacGuffin too far. It might be something like, that was a bit rubbish. So so far, more than halfway through it, great. Let's make sure he just sticks the landing. I'm sure no reason why he wouldn't, based on the reviews the book has had. No reason why he wouldn't stick the landing. But I just want to wait before I say that. When I did Bobby Burrs, I think I recommended before I finished it, the fourth book, because I knew it was going to stick the landing, and guess what? He did.
You knew it was safe hands.
It's safe hands, absolutely. So I know that he was going to be able to, and he did. He absolutely did. So that's different. Right. Before we do go, because we do need to go, get on with life. I just want to say, if you like the podcast, leave us a review or recommend it to a friend. That's the single best thing you can do for us. Yes, you can go on to Twitch and subscribe to Monkey Tail UK. You can absolutely go into your podcast service of choice and go and subscribe. That's great. That's the number one thing you can do. Number 2 is leave a review, of course. And number 3 is absolutely just tell somebody, hey, listen, I listen to this podcast. A lot of people have more time in their hands at the moment because of travel restrictions and this, that, and the other. Give us a recommendation to your friends and get them to listen to our podcast. So that's we rambled at the beginning, so we shall not ramble at the end. We normally ramble at the end, but we did the switcheroo and ramble at the beginning. And hey, sometimes I forget to edit the podcast and put it out. That's fun as well. So that's that happens sometimes, So so there you go. That's what I want to say. Have you got anything else to
add? No, I mean I can. Yeah, go on. We're going to do it. We've already had a long why don't you? But I've actually taken up one of your suggestions from 2 years ago.
Oh, from 2 years ago. Wow.
Ozark.
Yeah, Ozark is great.
Yeah, yeah. It is, we're I think 6 episodes in.
I'll tell you.
It's good. It needs to get on a bit now.
I'll tell you this about Ozark, and it's true. There's three seasons. Ozark is one of the rare shows where it gets better each season.
Right. Okay.
Season 2 is better than season 1. Season 3 is better than season 2. It's
right. Okay.
Yeah. So
all right. Yeah. Because it's a bit borderline for me. I do like it. It is good, but it needs it's going a bit slow at the moment. Things need to happen, and they need to get on with it.
From memory, the latter part of season 1 was better anyway. Like so you get that to come through, and then it takes it from there. I honestly think it gets better each season. I thought season 3 was
cool,
really good.
All right,
stick with it. Because it does get better.
Yeah, I mean, my intention was I'd stick with it to the end of the first season and see how I felt then.
You cannot watch the end of the first season without not wanting to watch season 2. Almost, I almost guarantee that.
We'll see.
We'll see. But I almost want to saying stick with it gets better is almost a disservice because I don't think it's that bad to start with anyway. No,
it's not bad. It's just I don't know. It just doesn't. Yeah. Like there's lots of good stuff there, and I'm enjoying watching it. I do think the episodes are too long. I think that's part of its problem.
Yeah.
It should be a 40-minute episode. I don't think it needs an hour. I think that's why it feels a bit slow. I think they've decided on hour-long episodes, and I think that was the wrong choice for this series.
I think you'd be surprised. It does get better, and season 2 and 3, like I said, even better. I think. Especially season 3, they take it to a new level, especially in the acting. Some of the new actors they get in, and some of the old actors are just. I think he got quite a few Emmy nominations season 3 that compared to the other seasons, And I think you haven't seen it yet, but on season 1, towards the end, one of the episodes that Jason Bateman is it Jason Bateman the main guy?
The actor.
He directs one of the episodes closer to the end, and I think he got nominated for that on season 1 as well for an Emmy for his direction and everything. So he does get good towards really good towards the end. I think that one. So yeah.
Stick with it.
Stick with it. You'll like it. And when you finish that, I got a recommendation for you. Breaking Bad. Have you heard of Breaking Bad?
well, I've done that twice already.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the thing. I think this is trying to be a little bit Breaking Bad, and it's just not. It's not quite up to that. I think
nothing is though. That's the problem.
And I think the character, like the main character, whatever he's called, Martin or whatever, he's a bit too clever. And things might change later, but at the moment he hasn't really fucked up yet. He's been in some tricky situations, but like he hasn't really fucked up. He's sort of too clever and doing everything the right way, essentially. Whereas like Walter White fucked up all the time.
Right. So on that, just quickly, if you take it is a bit like Breaking Bad, but on that, Walter White, first of all, fucks up, but also changes. Yeah, his character goes from like Mr. Friendly to Scarface almost at the end. Yeah, he changes slightly, but anyway. But what I'll say is about the Jason Bateman character, he never changes throughout the 3 seasons. His core values stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
But other characters very close to him, i.e., his wife, start getting a lot more Walter White themselves. And when he starts and trust me, there's enough other people, not just her. There's enough other people around him that will do the fuck ups instead of him. For your viewing pleasure. So, and he'll do some fuck ups as well. But yeah, you're right. He's too clever. But that's the whole point of that character.
Yeah. But it is good. I am enjoying it.
Other characters will make the mistakes for him. Don't you worry about that. Yeah, don't you worry about that. And the way season 3 ends, honestly, I was like this. The way season 3 ends, just mouths open. It's that good. Yeah, it's really good. All right, okay, let's leave it there then.
That is it. Yeah.
I've been great, and you've been Marius. I love that ending. I think I'm gonna keep going. I like it.
If it keeps you happy,
it makes me smile every time I edit that part. It makes me smile. That's right. All right, I'll leave it there. I'm gonna stop the podcast. Bye bye internet.